wonye wodre kuku kple taɖodzi be yawɔdɔ abe lãmesẽdɔwɔla ena ɖe nele klalo be yaxɔ hehe yi ana be mɔnukpɔkpɔ nasu asiwo be nawɔdɔ abe lãmesẽdɔwɔla enea ekema mɔnukpɔkpɔ va na wo be nato kɔsiɖa eve ƒe hehe nana tɔxɛ yi ana wo ɖaseɖigbalẽ be nate nu awɔ dɔ le New Jersey le Yevu dukɔ me tɔwo koe nye be naƒo ɖokuiwo ɖe hehe nana tɔxɛ ya me yi dzi New Jersey Board of Nursing da asi ɖo nufiala kpɔ nuteƒewo le lãmesẽ nyawo me akplɔ wo ato hehe nana ya me woafia wo afɔɖoƒe tɔxɛwo kple aɖaŋudeto yi ana be nuteƒekpɔkpɔ na asu asiwo be nawɔ dɔ le xexea me godoo le hehe nana ya ma woa ana wo mɔnukpɔkpɔ yi awoe be nate nu ade nu yiwo katã srɔ̃m nele atome enumake eye le kɔsiɖa eve megbea ɖaseɖigbalẽ asu asiwo be na awɔ dɔ akpɔ dɔnɔwo dzi le aƒewo me yi nye Home Health Aid megana be mɔnukpɔkpɔ ya nato nuwo ayi o tɔwo koe nye be nayɔ kaƒodzesi yawo hena ŋkɔŋɔŋlɔ alo nenye be egahiãna numekɔkɔ bubu yɔ 862558464 alo 848-218-1555 atenu agayɔ 773-960-5416 alo naro email ɖe pccshhtrainingschool@gmail.com alo newmanpccsinfo@gmail.com tso kaba megana be mɔnukpɔkpɔ ya nato nu ayi.
Hello. Indeed, Naminya Salaklenupolao. You're welcome from wherever you're watching us from, whether from the US, from Ghana, Togo, Benin, or wherever you are in Europe. You're welcome. This is the Health and Wellness Hub in Konyenya, Ms. Dell. Egbe, we're going to be talking about depression. Most of the time, this word depression, sometimes we're going through it, we don't even know we're going through it, or you might even know somebody who is going through it. So this is going to be a big help to us. So we can help ourselves and our friends or relatives, who are going through this or who will be going through this. Me again, my name is Ms. Dell. Health and Wellness Hub, aka is on Sienna Media and TV on YouTube on our YouTube channel. Okay, so as usual, before we start, before we get going, Mianovi Davisera is here to give us a motivational message for the day and for the week to keep us going. So over to you, Davisera.
Yo, akpega kakaka Mistel. Nyaselau jidoponya kemekokbo nami egbe enyebe mi ji yi nami adokyo be mi adideme. Let's find time for ourselves to rest. Find time for me time. Elabe miva Yevu do come mile do work besiagbe. We are working. Indeed do fiai egbe ne nyade keme jola amegede ola ome take a vacation. Over vacation time la kemi time of kemi wa take inyebe nyade jola fide ejebe no yi kemi o take over time off kemi okokoko yi tefie ta mejibe mado adawon kina ne ko adawon la ila akpede won enyebela megalala nende ni jokapi na take time off. Even like don't take time off within the day, within the week, or within the month. Time off kaglomele. Ndo li mile wo alo doke wo mile la stress na me. Alo be enana tukara wo enye doke wo miamegede mile le bokele meta. Eleve viere bede. Ne nkekieme lantanpo yi viere hi lava bobono tepede le doku aussi Ako phone koko dare tepede phone eniga no gbo ela be isia ila phone kemi le didi enyade gbo isia ne phone kemi dila amede le nyade kogbo e now be enyade le jojo alo ejedele miado alo down dele miawo. Like the me time I'm talking about here is just away from everything. Even if it is just 5-10 minutes in the day. Ne gapopo amaton alo ewola. Just go be by yourself somewhere. Ne na doto ne music alo hajijila. Just listen to the songs of upliftment and encouragement. Elabe menye hadesi adelanto dotolo. Elabe ehadolila ne jotodo hakemiola mblanui la leo. Ta megavado to mblanui how doto ehakemio hilana ejilajo. Ebia alo doto wona kemio la nana konu. Something that will bring laughter or excitement or joy to you. Just focus on just that for 5-10 minutes of your day. So that now your spirit will just come within yourself and it will settle. Like that is a time that you want to not think about anything. You don't want to think about anything. Empty your mind. Empty your mind. So that short time, if you're somebody who loves to read and you have an exciting story to read, you can read it. Or you want to read your Bible, yes, you can read it. Just for that 10 or 15 minutes, just to get away from everything and just have that quiet time. Now, ne amedeli he ne doje plan miela ejijo esiaila. Call that person and then have a conversation. Just conversation about nothings, like silly things. Jedodo kemio mia dohi anonuko kaka. I mean, you should have somebody that when you get on your phone, ne mile emoji mile jedola enukoko mia no kaka din for most of the time. Yeah, you can do that also, because look Kemila elana la distress. Kemila jichichi kemio stress kemio pete lila opete wa diffuse for the day or from keke ne makpo ile keke mola ji kekede le kosrala me be yawo wona kemi for yourself we na dokio elevevede we na dokio, or within the month. Then within the month, la jin kekede kade be nkeke kelela yumelende ke wagbo, or for the most part of the day ya yijibe ya awo your pleasure, like indulge in your pleasure, something that excites you. Amedoli la ojienu toto lanto atono. Amedoli la ojienu dada. Kemila lanto ako danu. Kemie de wo susu dali no sianuji. Wo susu the goal is to have your mind in the present moment. In the present moment. And not worrying and thinking about anything. So if you have a loved one, or you are dating somebody, or you're married to somebody you are really into, then yes, you can spend time with that person. But if you're in a marriage that you're always fighting or there's friction, don't do it with your partner. No, because it's a time to de-stress. So if you're dating somebody and you are excited, yes, it's a great place to be with yourself and with somebody if you two are into each other. Let me together, then yeah, you can do it with a loved one. Otherwise, do it by yourself. Find time, find me time, and spend time by yourself.
Thank you so much, Davi, Sarah, Auntie, our mother. Thank you. This is really, 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 really on point, because what you said is true. But see, sad, or you can't be by yourself, or you need somebody to always be talking to. Is therapy, and we've taken your advice in good faith, and we're going to practice it. I think it has to be cautious, right? We have to consciously do it.
Yes,
we have to consciously
make the time.
Yes.
You will never have the time. So if you have to tell people that, okay, I have an appointment at this hour so that nobody will disturb you, or even on the job, I have an appointment, then you just go and be by yourself, or go be with somebody who's going to make you excited.
Thank you. Now we're going to have to consciously be taking time off, to help ourselves, revamp, our spirit and everything, so we can live better lives and have good, be in good health to work better, and then get some money to help our people, our community, and ourselves too. But thank you so much, Darby Sarah. At this point, we'll take a short commercial break, and then we'll come back to introduce our special guest in the studio. All right, stay tuned.
You are welcome to Sienna 2025. Come and have a unique experience in Dallas, Texas.
Ago na miapete milemiakpe bemiva 32nd annual Sienna Convention Le Dallas Fort Worth. Dallas. Big D. Miva nyapakpong tepe.
Aha. Sienna 2025. Mano bobo edolo. Miva midwaza. We want me at the Cornwall Friday evening. Sunday me our picnic. Me our church service. And all les zanzazata miniva.
Tata nyo play for nyo mi do bonso anamilo. Mi do bonso anami apata mi de kukuna mi be mi kro mi ape famille o valo. Mi kro mi ape famille o mi afa po Dallas da. Mi ado azan. Azalo.
Azase.
Azale kongbe.
Azale wow.
All right, welcome back. This is the Health and Wellness Hub on Sienna TV and Radio. Miaweka Zo. Egbe, today we're going to be talking about depression. So just like our sister Sarah just told us, we need to consciously take time off work to rest. To rest. So today, depression. And we have here a well-seasoned professional. If you saw our flyer for this week, you could see all those credentials on the flyer. This should tell you that this person is very experienced in what she's going to tell us. Our special guest here today, and Dr. Tina. Dr. Tina is a doctor of nursing practice, Master of Science in Nursing. She also has a family nurse. She's a family nurse practitioner, psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, board certified, and then advanced practice nurse, registered nurse. So all these credentials, is telling us, Bede, she's very experienced and she has a lot of good things for us this morning. So welcome, Dr. Tina. You're muted.
You can hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you so much. So I was able to set up the two. So I'm both
Okay.
on TikTok and on here.
Okay.
And I have my presentation here. So if you see me turning this way, that will be the reason.
That's fine. What's your handle on TikTok? So those watching from there can also
is Dr. Tina, Glam Doc Tina.
Okay.
All yes. Right. So thank you so much for this opportunity that you have granted me to share with the community. It's something that I do not take it for granted. And anytime I get this platform, I just want to share with the community to be aware of mental health aspect. Because for years, whenever we hear mental health, it's something that our community do not want to hear. And it's about time we address it so that we will be aware that mental health is also essential part of us, so that we will be able to solve the issues that mental health issues have brought in our community, or prevent them before they attack us. So thank you so much for this opportunity to present. So like you said, I'm Dr. Tina. I chose Dr. Tina as my name. I have a full name, but I'm not going live now to with my full name. But now I feel comfortable with being Dr. Tina. So I'm here to share with the community about depression today. So, depression is the topic today. So I'm a family nurse practitioner at the same time, a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. I practice in both acute and outpatient. And so I have the opportunity to see all patients from all ages, at least after 3 days, to any age at all, adulthood. I see each and every one of those. And today we are talking about depression. So someone will ask, why do we have to even talk about mental health or depression, to be precise? You see, as we always go about our things, we do think that it's only the physical aspect that we need to take care of, but our mind is also essential, that we take care of our minds as well. And that is why mental health is very critical. I always say that if we take care of our physical body and we do not take care of our mind, then it won't work. Because, for instance, if you are diagnosed with cancer, cancer does affect us emotionally and mentally. So you see that it's physical illness, but at the end, it causes us to be depressed. It causes us to be maybe suicidal. And so it is very essential that we talk about it. And that is why we are discussing about depression today. Likewise, if we only take care of our mental health without the physical body, it won't work. And that is why it's essential that we talk about both. For instance, if we have depression, some people eat rough, they can eat junk and all that. And as we do that, it does affect our physical body. And at the end, we can be struck with illnesses such as diabetes. And so today, it's essential that we talk about both depression and the physical body as well, or mental health and physical as well. So today, to be precise, we are talking about depression. Now, let's go over what depression is about. So, depression is a state of mind, and it's critical that we talk about it because it causes us to have a low mood. When we say low mood, you see, sometimes you don't want to do anything. You feel so quiet and you don't want to mingle. You don't want to say anything. You kind of put yourself down, and that is the low mood. It says loss of pleasure or interest in our daily activities, and also sleep disturbance, reduced appetite, fatigue, poor concentration. So that is what is about depression. So whenever we go through all these that we have mentioned about, things that we love to do, maybe we used to play soccer and it was one of our favorite things to do, but unfortunately we don't want to do that anymore because of depression. And that causes us to be more suicidal or cause us to harm ourselves at the long run. So it's very important that we understand what depression is about. We have several types of depression, but today we are not going to dwell on the types of the depression, but we are going to talk about it as a whole. So depression, we have major depression, we have atypical, we have other stuff that we can mention as a mental health is concerned. But we are not going to be in a classroom. We are just going to teach you how to be aware of depression and the causes and how to prevent them. And if you have it, what steps you have to take. So let's talk about symptoms. So depression has a lot of symptoms, and we have a guidelines. DSM-5 is our guidelines for diagnosing depression. And we have come to a point that, per research, anytime somebody have 5 or more of these symptoms, then that person is depressed, and mostly is termed as major depression. So you see that you have no energy, You have no energy. You feel so tired. You don't want to do anything. You feel weak. Those are some of the what do we call it, symptoms that causes is caused by depression. Another one would be like feeling sad, anxious, often all the time. So, for instance, when somebody is depressed, they feel so anxious, they become and they feel anxious, they don't want to do anything, they feel scared, they feel sad. You will see them tearing, you will see them crying in their rooms or hiding out. You see that they don't want to come out. Some of them show that way. Also, not wanting to do activities, just like I said, the activities you used to like. Maybe you used to go out with friends. Now you don't want to go out with friends anymore. You want to hide yourself. Those are some of the symptoms you'll be having. You feel irritable and early frustrations or restless. You see that the little thing you get so mad, the little thing you get irritated. Those are some of the symptoms as depression is concerned. Also, having trouble falling asleep and staying asleep. Sometimes you can't even sleep. You will go to bed 3 a.m., you will be counting the ceiling. You can't sleep, you can't fall asleep. And that is also another sign that it might be as a result of depression. Also, eating more or less or having no appetite. Some people, when they have depression, they can't eat at all or they don't want to eat. Some people, too, they will be eating out of order. So you see that they gain so much when they are depressed. So some people gain so much, and some people also lose weight because they are not able to eat or they lose appetite from eating. And so those are some of the symptoms. Also, you see that you experience aches and pains. So you see that some people complain a lot. My body hurt, my neck hurt, my back hurts. All those things are some of the symptoms that shows that this person might be going through depression as well. Also, you have trouble concentrating. You get a fog brain. So, like you were maybe sharp. When it comes to thinking, you were able to think straight, you were able to reason, you were able to come out with things that are tangible. But now you get a brain fog. Like you can't even think, you can't concentrate. We will be talking about something, but your mind will not be there. And that might be a cause of depression. Also, feeling tired, just like I mentioned, and even after sleeping. So you slept, you know that you have slept, but still you feel tired. You feel like you didn't have enough sleep. Those are some of the symptoms as well. Also, feeling of guilt and worthlessness. So sometimes you feel like you feel guilty of certain things, right? For instance, in Ghana, there's a young man that hurt himself because after having several surgeries, he felt worthless. He felt like he's not man enough to even get married. Why do I have to live again? So this man took his life. Sometimes that thought comes to your mind that you are worthless, you are nobody, and you feel so much guilty about the things that you are going through. And so it will end not well. Those are some of the symptoms you go through. Also, thinking about SI or hurting yourself is also something that comes with depression. Like this young man that I set as an example, he hurt himself because he felt overwhelmed, he felt worthless. And so the only thought that was coming to his mind was SI or taking his life. And so these are some of the symptoms that you might be exhibiting. Like I said, if you're having 5 of these symptoms, then it's critical that you take a look and seek for help because those are symptoms of depression. Now, somebody may ask, so what is the cause What causes depression at all? What makes us develop depression? Okay, so depression is a mental health issue or problem. So it's here, it's up there. It can be emotional connection to here. So what will cause somebody to slip into depression? Sometimes it's about our blood relatives. So for instance, if our mother had a depression, or our father or our sister had depression, we could also have that, because sometimes it runs through the bloodline. Also, experiencing some traumatic and stressful event, also like if you suffer death in the family, you can slip into depression. If you loses maybe an arm, or you were involved in traumatic issues or cancer or diseases, that can also cause you to have a depression. Also, major change in life like divorce can also cause somebody to slip into depression. Also, some medications that we put patients on can also be as a result of this depression. And so these are some of the causes that can help us slip into depression, and we don't want that to happen. And so as we move on, we are on statistics. One may say that does depression even occur often? And who can have depression? Is it that rampant? Today, I want you to be aware that in research, they have found out that about 1 out of every 6 adults, one of them is depressed. That means that it's closer than we think. It's closer because anybody, oops, I hope I'm still on.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so the phone pop up.
That's okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's fine.
You can see me?
Yeah, can you tilt? There you go. Yes.
Okay, all right. And so statistics have made us aware that 1 out of 6 of adults are diagnosed with depression. That shows that depression is really close. And so, your brother, your sister, your friends, your church member, your community member may be suffering from depression. And so, it's very close to us. And depression affects about 60 million American adults every year. There was one research that I look at, it says 6.7% of adults are diagnosed with depression. And so depression is very close than we think. And so it's important that we get to know about depression and what measures to take to prevent it, or to reduce it, or if we have it, to seek for help. Now let's talk about treatment. Okay, so we have several treatments so long as depression is concerned. We have something called therapy, and many people have benefited from therapy. And so we do not joke with it. It's one of the means. Psychotherapy, it's one of the means to seek help. It's like a group, you can do it as individual, and many has testified that it has helped them. Even those that were thinking about hurting themselves, they were able to bounce back, and they loved themselves, and they were able to overcome it. Another thing is medication. Medication is also another. But before we put you on medication, we make sure that you perform a little exercise for us. So based on the exercise, we will determine that, oh, you need to be on medication. Some patients need to be on both therapy and medication. Both has to help them. From the stage where you are, it may depend that both will benefit you. And usually when you are just graded maybe mild, and you are able to do stuff and go about your things, then we suggest you go for therapy. But as time goes on and we see that's getting worse, then we have to put you on medication. Because of social media and ethics, we are not going to dive into what do we call it, medication aspect to talk about here. But I want us to talk about also conditions that can get us worse in our depression, mostly. So, arthritis, asthma, heart diseases, cancer, diabetes, obesity, all those things can also be conditions that can worsen us from getting, worsen us to get depression. Also, when we were talking about treatment, there's something that I left out, and it's self care. Self care is one of the acceptable means to help us to also overcome depression. Doing something that makes you happy is one of them. Also, making sure that you take care of you and you listen to your body. If it's stress from work, if you are doing two jobs and you think it's hurting you, you have to let go of one. That is self care. And also take measures to make sure that you feel better. If it's massage, you have to go. If it's let's say something like jogging, you have to do, or mingling, going for parties, talking to friends and family. Those are some of the self-care. Buying something that makes you happy, dressing up, waking up, making sure you do your hair properly, you dress properly. All those things are self-care that you can do as well. Also, as we are talking about depression, I wanted us to just talk a little bit about postpartum depression. Not too much, but a little bit of postpartum depression. So, as we have talked about depression in general, we also have something called postpartum depression. And we have realized that it's creeping into the society and it's hurting most family, and they do not know what this is all about. And so postpartum depression is something that we need to also look at. So what is postpartum depression? So postpartum depression is also known as perinatal depression, and it's a mood disorder as well. And so, and it happens when you are pregnant or after birth. It does happen. Post means after birth. But when we use the peri, it can be during pregnancy and after birth. And so it's all these depression we have talked about, and then you experience it after birth. And most people go through that. This can happen maybe 4 to 8 weeks after birth, but it can happen anytime after birth. And we need to make sure that we are aware of that. And sometimes some of these symptoms that we go through as postpartum depression, we termed it as baby blues. Baby blue. So if you have heard about baby blue, it's the depression they are talking about, postpartum depression. So postpartum depression too, just like other depression we have talked about, it also has symptoms like sadness, anxiety, mood changes. You don't want to do stuff that you like anymore. You feel guilty, worthless. All those symptoms come over and over, and being restless, and also having trouble sitting still. All those things can be symptoms of postpartum depression. Feeling hopeless, and sometimes you don't even have the interest of looking after your baby because you are so depressed. You don't want to even touch the baby. You don't want to take care of the baby. All those things can be postpartum depression. Also, difficulty concentrating, like we have talked about, irritable and frustration. And the little thing, you get mad, maybe at your partner, at the baby you have, and all that. And so it's essential that we talk about postpartum depression as well. So the depressed mood, the anxiety, the feelings of shame, guilt, trouble sleeping, weight loss, and sometimes weight gain, all those things can be a symptoms of postpartum depression. Also, we do have something called postpartum psychosis. The depression, when the depression is lingering after birth and it's not controlled and treated, you begin to hallucinate. So if you have heard that people give birth and they drown their baby, how on earth can you go through 9 months pregnancy, have your beautiful baby, and then you drown the baby just because you were depressed, and from that you were not getting help, and so it enters into what is termed psychosis. So you begin to hallucinate, you begin to hear voices, you begin to hear things that are not appropriate, and if you don't take care, you can even hurt that baby. And so it's essential that postpartum depression needs to be looked at. And what are some of the risk factors that can lead to postpartum depression? Like life stress. You know, sometimes as you give birth, especially in United States, we do not have help here. And so the baby becomes an additional stress to you because you have to bath the baby, you have to feed the baby, you will be neglecting yourself because this baby might be taking all the attention. And this can cause stress mentally to the mother. And so this can cause them to slip into postpartum depression. Also, physical and emotional demands of the child, just like I've said, and also hormonal changes. As women, we go through a lot of hormonal changes. All those things can also cause us to slip into postpartum depression as well. Sometimes we have issue in our relationship. Maybe your partner is not helping as it's supposed to, or there's some quarrel, misunderstanding. All those things can also be a cause of postpartum depression. Also, treatment for postpartum depression is the same as actual depression. So therapy, medication, or combination. But what I want to stress most will be self-care. Just make sure that as your baby, you taking care of your baby, you are putting all energy into taking care of the baby. You make sure that you yourself, you are getting help as well. You are eating healthy, you are dressing properly, you are using the best cologne to make yourself smell good, and maybe you implement some exercises that you can do little by little to help you lose baby fat and all that. And so those, also talking to people or joining groups with common mindsets will also help you as well. And so medication is also there to help you overcome postpartum depression as well. And so I will end here. And if there is any questions or any suggestions or anything, then we can talk about it.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Tina. Yeah, thank you so much. So, Dr. Tina has spoken. She has told us a lot. She has said a lot. You know, self-care. It's in line with what our motivational speaker just told us this morning. Self-care. It still comes back to the point of self-care, taking care of ourselves, finding time for ourselves to de-stress from all the activities and all the stuff going on in our lives. So very important. At this point, we'll just take a short commercial break, and then we'll come. Please, if you have any questions, just put them in the comment section, and there, so Dr. Tina will answer them when we come back from our short commercial break. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere.
Oh, Finemia guy, FF for me lelo. Robenya vie jojo. Jajara dona Siana 2025. Ya for me le rehearsal so de le jajado wo. Mile, me ya fide ko mile.
Oh, Nyakefia. You must be never register in Dallas 2025. Because that's the only way my tongue get access to their hotel. I can't really worry. No, you may register here. Can I never job? Hey, my tongue at the convention or would they refund my money to me?
watu kwenda kuna nenyebe Ghana registration ebe na netu muda matemba convention le kana swa ya kulebe na wenyebe na yo convention organizers mu na no manya alabe watu kwenda kata kuna elebe na yo afi August keke wito 2025 na do abe aton ho kwenda kata
nyatepa
nyateƒe nyakpe mi onu be kpe ƒe kpli be didi ƒe ƒete mi ya kpe mi date koe hia August 13 2025 no nya yoko wa cancel hotel reservations akwa Ghana.
you know what when it's too early to register for the convention now. The convention is up there in August 2025.
Fonye ene registration ekpena de siana huvena wododo nya de asanauti uhala apo hotel benye pede ano
Oh, apena de upe ya dem. We need to ma register. Ma we kaba ma ya no vinje gomita apato gbe pe kolobadu. O te no register na mi afansa ele be pere.
Efo ehon ko ben kolo ya mi yo me we mi yo mi abe ku me to we mi a register mi afa Dallas azalo.
To discuss about depression. Thank you. So you back.
Yes, we're back. Thank you all for listening. This is still the Health and Wellness Hub. Miata me de kuku egbe mi kokemi mia professional or mia resource person for today. The message egbe yeta me ewa presentation ele yevu me that in all what she's telling us in your bede elebe me find hey a lot time na mia dokuyo mile do war mile yi le gbogbo mile taking care of our families mile amese me gbogbo akede sometimes or most of the time today elebede me find time na mi adokui and take care of ourselves as well is very good and is very helpful, and it would prevent us into getting into the state of depression. It's same in line with is the same thing. Me time very important throughout the week. Me our families back home. From time to time, let me take time off. Vacation time, the miasi gakede no, we don't use it all. Me find time de me ache me adoku me elebe me jira me adoku take good care of ourselves, eat well, and then be in good health so we can continue helping others as well. In the national area of depression. Questions if you have any questions, put it in the comment section and she's going to address it. This is Sienna Media YouTube channel, Miako channel, okay. Please share, like our channel and share our programs as well. There are other programs that come our way right from Friday, Miato for Lawrence Mawenyega comes our way with African jazz and traditional music panorama. Friday is 7 p.m. CST and 8 p.m. Eastern time. So Friday evening, just for you to relax. Just like Dr. just told us, we need to find me time. This can be your me time. Just relax Friday after work, Friday evening. If you have your wine or whatever type of drink that you enjoy, just sit down, relax, and listen to some good music from our father and our brother Efo Lawrence Mawenyega. That's Fridays. And then Saturdays morning, Abemi Milefi, we are right here, Health and Wellness Hub. We come your way, 9:30 a.m. CST, and that will be 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. And then after that, Efo Steve and Empress Mausi or Mama Seduji, they also come your way with Sienna Central Talk Show. Today is going to be another interesting show with a lawyer who is going to be talking to us about immigration issues and status. So please stay tuned right after our show. And then we also have on right after that we have Mr. Ogbegbe. Mr. Ogbegbe also comes your way later on in the afternoon with Dr. Wanyo, Dana, me, and the other season speakers who's going to help us to learn our dialect I'm struggling here. I'm sitting and struggling here with speaking my own dialect. So they come our way, they teach us, the words and phrases and everything that entails in our dialect. And I think I missed one. Dunenyo Bobobo also comes our way sometime this afternoon on Saturdays. That's 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern time, and then 5 to 8 p.m. That's GMT, so Ghana time. If you are in Ghana, okay, so that's the time for Dunenyo Bobobo. So those are our shows for Saturday. And then Sunday, our sister Nicole comes our way with Africa Chill. She has people who come, resource people who come and talk to us about our culture, our outdooring, marriage ceremonies, and everything that entails in our has to do with our culture. Let's tune in Sunday and listen. We have other programs that are also going to come our way. Our brother and our father, for Patrick Ajadu, is also planning to come away with Sienna Worldview. So let's keep looking out for that. So those are our programs for now on Sienna Media and TV. And then even as the adverts that I played is in regards to Sienna 2025. Next year, Sienna 2025 is coming to Dallas, Texas. Sienna Dallas, Texas next year. It's going to be our annual 32nd Sienna convention right here in Dallas, Texas. Taneme register, please. The flyers that we've been circulating the flyers on all our social media platforms, on all our association platforms here, everywhere. Medekukumi register na Sienna 2025. December, May. Very soon we're going to enter January, and then that'll be 2025. So there's no time to waste. Don't procrastinate. Medekukumi register now, conventional. If you're going to go, you're going to come today. Just go ahead and register. And even as the advert said, if you at a point in time, if you have something happens and you cannot make it, you can always cancel and then you get your refund. So don't be scared. You don't want to register in case of anything. If you're not sure, just go ahead and register. You don't lose anything. You can always cancel and your money will be refunded to you. Akpenami, thank you all so much. At this point, we'll go back to Dr. Tina. Let me read the comments that we have here. A minute, please. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to read the comments that we have here. Okay. So Mr. Lawrence Dagadu says, thanks for the reminder, David Sarah, about me time. For me is music that feeds my soul. It improves my mood. So just like Dr. Tina has said, and our motivational speaker also said, music can also be one. And yes, that is our host for the music show, African Jazz Music Show on Friday. So he says that is his me time. So right in line with what has been said this morning. And then Jesus Loves Me also says, thanks, Dr. Tina, for the insights into depression. Okay, so there's another question from Jesus Loves You and Me. He says, Dr. Tina, do you take remote consults?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So at the end of the show, Dr. Tina is going to give out her contact. So if you want to contact her for any consultation or anything, so you can get in touch with her. All right. And then Mr. Lawrence Dagadu also says, is it advisable to take any medication if you're experiencing any of the depression symptoms?
So the first thing you have to do is, if you're having 5 or more of these symptoms, you have to first seek help from your primary care physician or doctor or provider, whomever it is. You have to go see them. We have exams or a paper we will give it to you for you to fill out. And then we can look at that and determine that you are depressed. And depending on that, we can either refer you for therapy or we can prescribe you some medication. Always seek help from your primary care doctor. If they are not able to give you the other small medication to start you with, they can refer you to specialist people like us or psychiatrists or those people that take care of our minds, and then we can also put you on medication. We just don't put you on medication straight away because everybody's depression is different. Some depression, just music can even cure that. So we will tell you what to do, therapy first. And if you need to be on medication, we can combine both medication and therapy to you. We will, depending on the level where you are, we can also educate you on some of these self-care that we talked about. And so, yes, we can put you on medication, but it depends on how your depression stage is. So we have mild, it can be severe. If it's severe, then automatically you have to be on medication and therapy as well. So depending on the level you are, then we can put you on medication as well.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Tina. So just like you said, yeah. Another question is, do children or do kids also go through depression?
That's a good question. Yes, they do. You see that our children, their symptoms is similar to us, but some of them throw tantrum. Some of them behavior change. Maybe there's a divorce in the family, and it does affect our kids without knowing. And so you see that their behavior suddenly change. And mostly in Africa, our dialects, they will say, "Abeya akraboni ebra or mamini or papa jawari." You see, we hear that a lot. When there's a separation in the family, when there's a change, maybe we change their school, that can cause them to slip into depression. Their way of showing it may be just not involving in things that they do like previously, or maybe hiding in their rooms all day, not talking to anybody, or crying all the time, or throwing tantrum, or behavioral changes. All those things are some of the symptoms that our children also experience. But yes, children can also have depression. And that is why we need to make sure we pay attention to our children's behavior, and we have to communicate with our children to find out if maybe they are being bullied at school and we are not aware. All those things can cause them to slip into depression. So yes, children can experience that as well.
Wow, thank you. So it's very important that we pay attention to the mood and the behavior of our children. If we see any changes, we have to really, verify, to look into it and make sure they are not slipping into the state of depression. Thank you so much, Doctor. Another question is, based on the postpartum symptoms that you mentioned, I realized that most women or parents who have children with disability, I think some of them get into that state because I've heard and I've seen some women who have given birth to children with disability and just left them, they just dump them, or they just reject the children and they leave the children. So is that also a symptom of the postpartum? And if it is, do we really do such people, is it advisable that when people, I think that's because in our African culture, when you have children or when you give birth, there are people around you and they become your support system. So you don't slip into that state of mind. Is that it?
Yes, like we said, you see, traumatic or stressful issues can also cause you to slip into depression. Okay. So, for instance, everybody wants a healthy baby. Unfortunately, things happen. Things do not go the way we plan, and you will not even understand why. Why me? Why this? You begin to think, what did I do? The guilt that you feel, the emotional, the trauma, and all those things causes you to depress, and that can even cause a whole lot of issue, like we talked about the psychosis. So you see that some people, they don't even want to touch their children, and you see the community where we are coming from, we stigmatized all those disability children, and that's We do not have the understanding of it. And so, yes, that can cause a mother to be depressed, and they can really neglect the baby when the baby is deformed in one way or the other. So it's about time that our community also make us aware that when you give birth to these kids, they are as good as the children without deform. And so we should also love them, and we should stop stigmatizing all these family. You see, sometimes we say because they were witch, that is why they gave birth to the disability. All these things do not help, because it causes a whole lot to the mother. You know, after going through 9 months and having a baby with a problem, it torments you, it's stressful, it causes you to feel the guilt, the anxiety, all those things, and neglect. And so, yes, those can cause all these things. Some people will even attempt to hurt the baby. And so, yeah, it can be postpartum depression. All these things can lead to that. And so it's about time our community wakes up and help people with children with disability as well.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Tina. At this point, we'll just take some announcements, and then we'll just come back and wrap up with our show. So the announcements, let me. So we have a lot of Christmas parties that are coming. A lot of our associations are having their end of year Christmas parties. There we go. A lot of our associations are wrapping up the year with Christmas parties, and if you find yourself in any of these associations that I'm going to mention, please make it a point to join them. Charlotte, North Carolina is going to have their end of year Christmas party on the 12th, it's December 28th, rather. December 28th. And then we have Boston, this Greater Boston. They are going to have theirs on December 21st. Yes, Boston is having theirs on December 21st. If you find yourself in Boston, please join them wherever you are. Any of these associations, Boston, local Christmas party, end of year party, war on December 21st. North Carolina to only war on December 28th. Chicago is having theirs on December 21st. That's Chicago. And then we also have Washington, D.C. They're also having theirs on December 21st. Wow, that's a lot of parties on December 21st. And then right here in Dallas, we're also having ours on December 21st. We're having our banquet in fundraiser. It's going to be a black tie event. So the flyers are circulating. We're also having ours on December 21st. And Houston is also having theirs on December 13th. That's going to be next Saturday. Oh, that's next Friday, I guess. Oh, whatever. And then Ewega of Georgia is also having theirs on December 14th. So that's a lot of Christmas parties. If you find yourself in any of these states around the season, then I join you all to celebrate and thank God for a good year to run up the year 2024. Thank you all so much. That's the announcement for now. So Dr. Tina, your final words to us about depression and how
Thank
to
you so much.
get into that.
Yeah, I want to use this opportunity to thank you and your group for having me to educate the community about depression. One thing I want us to be aware as much as our physical health is important, we should also make sure that we take care of our minds, because it's very critical and both of them go hand in hand. So we should not leave any of these cares behind. If we or family member or friends are suffering from depression, there are help out there and we should direct them to the right people. If we see these symptoms we talked about in our friends and loved ones, we should suggest to them that, hey, go see your primary care doctor concerning these issues I've been seeing. Also, make sure you encourage them. Don't say words that will hurt them, but words that will encourage them, that will make them seek help. And we should be kind to one another. We should be aware of our utterances, because our utterances have caused a lot of people to hurt and harm themselves. And so this is what I will talk about. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you so much, Dr.
You're welcome.
Tina. We really appreciate it. There was one, as the last question, Mr. Lawrence Dagadu says, can Dr. Tina discuss ADHD as it relates to depression? But then we're running out of time. We have to wrap up right now. So that's going to be for another day. I'm going to check if, she's going to come back and then we can discuss it into details. Thank you so much. You're all welcome. Our time is up, unfortunately. The 1 hour runs by so fast. So, so we have to make way for the next program, the next show from FO Steve and Davi, Empress Mausi. So thank you all. This has been a honest show. And we've had Dr. Tina here talking to us about depression. And we are so grateful to you all. So until we come your way next week with another segment, please be in good health. As we've been told, take time to distress and have a me time and stay on. We'll see you next week. Even as we are in the season of Christmas, we want to start wishing you all a Merry Christmas and take care of yourself out there. And our folks in Ghana, we wish you all the best, even as there's an election going on. We're praying that everything goes on smoothly. Thank you all, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Yes, ye KKG akakafo aroji orokogo afuwati agbama biesa anyanyi ato jankle makara nanamchi manana nyakoi yenya ba ajikali dikala angama Floss tasty treat anya ajikali ka azena azada shiada akuta peo asroda peo no nyeba na jiga zandum na no gwana ba first course Hello, starter. Anya no indudu ika